Hi friends, welcome back to our channel Total QA. In today's video, we're going to discuss about GitHub tutorial from scratch. As part of it, we're going to discuss about what is an organization, what is a repository in GitHub, what is a branch, what is a default branch, what are the branch rules we can set, what is a commit ID, what is a pull request, what are the different contributors for the repository, what are the issues we can raise in the GitHub repository, and what is a GitHub wiki, how do we download the repository, and how do you identify a particular file. So these topics we are going to cover as part of GitHub tutorial part 1, especially we are starting from the scratch, right? So first thing, what is a GitHub? GitHub is a code repository tool mainly useful to collaborate between the colleagues in the enterprise. It is same as Facebook. So Facebook also, we always collaborate with our friends. But here in the case of GitHub, it is also a collaboration tool, but we always collaborate with our colleagues. We maintain the code in a repository. And GitHub, it's a web-based application, based UI application. So we can access GitHub by accessing a browser. So now, I have created an account in GitHub. Whoever is interested to start with GitHub, we have to create an account. You have to sign up, which is a free. We can sign up and try to sign in with the credentials. We can log into GitHub. So for that, you have to access github.com. If you access github.com, actually I have already logged in. Let me log out. So if you try to access github.com, you can sign up for GitHub and try to sign in to see the home page. So let me sign in now. I'll sign in with my email ID and password. So once I sign in, I can see this as a home page for GitHub. So in our topic, the first point is organization. What is an organization? See, in the enterprise environment, mainly we always create an organization to create multiple repositories for a particular organization. So it is always important to create an organization. Within the organization, we can have multiple repository. A repository is identification of a particular project. Suppose in an organization, say ABC. In an ABC organization, you can have multiple projects. All these projects are having different repositories. We can maintain different repositories under one organization. So I'm going to show you how are we going to create an organization here. We click here. Once we log in, you just see here your organizations. Click on organizations now. Click on new organization button and you have different options. Free. In the case of free, you can have unlimited public private repositories. Okay. And you have unlimited collaborator. A collaborator is nothing but a contributor for the repository. Anyone who is having access, they can modify the code, they can push, they can pull. So contributor is the one who is modifying the changes, who is having access to the repository to modify the code. We call them as collaborator. And also you have some information like 500 MB of GitHub packages. The difference between free and the team and the enterprise is, you can look out here, it's a 500 MB. This is 2 GB. This is 50 GB, right? So that is the information, and also the authentication mainly here in the enterprise. This is majorly used in the companies. It's enterprise version. You have a SAML authentication, which is authenticated used on the employee I number and the credentials. But for us, we are trying to select the free option, join for free. It is sufficient for us to practice. So I'm just giving organization name as total-QA. Is the organization name is already taken. Let's take total-QA automation tools. This is my organization account name. My email ID, I will try to provide totalqa9@gmail.com. And this is mainly for my personal account only. I am creating this organization. I click on next. So what are we trying to do? We are creating an organization in the GitHub. Click on next. And we can add any users, or else you can just simply skip this step. And finally, we are going to create our own repository. We have to select. So we can see here, what do you expect to do on GitHub the next 7 days? I can say manage code, collaborate on the code. You can try to provide all the information. Do you have an existing repository for your project? As of say no, click on submit. So this creates an organization. So it is very important to know in the enterprise environment, always we create organization and also we create a repository. Say suppose for example repo1, we make it as public, right? So maintaining repo1 for project, say APC. Just select add me readme file, add a git ignore, choose a license. License is not required. Just click on create a repository. So I think there is, let me try to remove this, just create a repository, add a readme file, that's fine, just create a repository. So under Total QA Automation Tools is an organization, we have repository 1. I can even create a new repository under organization. I can give the repository name as repo2. So creating repo2. Organization. You can give the organization name. Just keep public or Total QA. I'll just give Total QA as the organization. Try to select add a readme file, create a repository. Okay, let me go to the organization here. So the advantage here is whenever we create an organization, we can create multiple repositories under this organization. And also we can create multiple teams. Suppose for example, I am creating a dev team here. The team name is dev team, right? So create the team. And we can add the members to the dev team and we can provide the access to the organization. Whoever is having the access to the organization, they can easily access any of the repository. So the advantage of the organization is we can create multiple repositories and we can create teams to provide access to organization. Now, if we don't want to create multiple repositories and create an organization, we can even create a single repository as well to maintain the code. So for that, let me select here, click on your repositories, click on new repository. If you want to select any repository, select it, or else click on new repository. Just give the repository name as a sample or repository. GitHub repository. Just give the name as GitHub repository. Okay, we make it as public. Add a readme file. Just click on create repository. So there's a difference between an organization and a repository. Organization is a group of repositories, but repository is independent. We can even create a repository as well. So in the repository, we can add a file. Suppose for example, if you are interested to upload any file, suppose we are interested to create a new file. Suppose let me click on create new file. I'm creating a new file, say suppose I'm just trying to say steps or installation steps. I'm just trying to write one document where I'm trying to mention about installation steps, installation.txt. I'll say here steps to follow. Step 1, download the software, click on executable, perform the steps to install the software successfully. Right, and let me try to put the commit message, adding the steps to the commit. We are committing a new file. For committing a new file, we are adding the commit message, and I'm committing directly to the master branch. What is the branch? I will tell you. Just commit new file. So what we have done right now, we created a repository and we created a file by clicking on add file, create new file. So it is easy to create a repository, and also we can add a file within the repository from the GitHub web based UI application, because we are able to access this GitHub via a browser. So in the browser, we are able to create a repository and we can add a file successfully. Now, so we created a repository, okay, and we add the file as well in the repository. Now, branch. What is the main use of branch in a repository? In a repository, we have a branch. What does it mean? So if you look at here, this is the repository name. The GitHub is the repository name. The GitHub repository contains a branch, master branch. And also in a repository, there should be a default branch always. That is master branch. If required, we can even change the branch master to some other branch as default. But as of now, when you create a repository, what is the default branch name? It is master branch. Default branch name is master branch. Why do we need multiple branches, or why do we need a branch? Suppose we have multiple developers in the project. They wanted to modify their code, they wanted to add a new code, so they have to do these changes in an isolation. In the isolation, they have to modify these files, so they require a branch. Because if multiple developers are working in a project, they cannot modify the same branch, so they need a specific branch to modify, to add, to delete the code in the specific branch. That is the reason in a repository you can have multiple branches. Suppose, for example, I can create one more branch as branch 1. So I am creating a branch 1 from master. I select this, I got the branch _1 created. You can see. Right? Suppose, for example, I select master. If I'm interested to create one more branch, say branch _2. What happens? Create branch _2 from master. So master, the branch code of master will be copied and placed under branch 2. So how many branches we have here totally? Click on it. 3 branches we have. Scroll up. You can see master is a default branch. If you want, we can even change the default branch to, from master to, we can update to branch 1 also. Update. Right? I understand. Update the default branch. Again, how can we change the default branch? Go to the repository, GitHub repo. Click on 3 branches which are available. You can select the default branch, change default branch, and try to select here as a master branch. Update. right? Now the default is updated to the master branch. So why do we need multiple branches? To modify the code, to experiment code changes, we require a new branch. Default branch is master. To experiment the code changes, a developer require a new branch, and we can even change the default branch from master to any other branch. So we have seen how to create a branch also, we have covered here, right? Create a new branch from master branch. It's very easy. Try to. What we have to do to create a new branch? Very simple. Go to the repository. Click here. Type some branch name. Automatically it will show an option to create the branch accordingly. Now we are able to create branch as well. Now the next point is the branch rules. This is very important. So who can push the code? Who can push to which branch? Who can commit it? So we can create some rules on a specific branch. It will be helpful in the organization to manage the access rights. Okay. So when you go to the branch rules, for the branch rules to set it up, just go to settings tab here. Click on branches. You can see the branch protection rules. It will help you to disable force pushing, prevent branches from being deleted. It might be possible that the branches also will be deleted if you don't create some branch protection rules. Suppose let me create one branch protection rule, say add rule. So suppose rules applied everyone include administrators, allow users with push access to delete matching branches. Suppose you can select anything here, something like this. See here, allow deletions, allow users with push access to delete matching branches. Or else, suppose if you want, if you look at here, so you can say required commits. Required signed commits. Somebody has to sign on the for committing this code. Required signed commits. You can put that. Or else require pull requests before they merge. What is a pull request? We'll discuss. But there are set of rules already available in GitHub. We can set it up at the branch level. Allow force pushes. Allow users with push access to delete matching branches. You can create this. So what will happen here? You have to give the branch name. Suppose the branch name I am giving as master. You have to give the branch name master. Then you have to select this. Click on create. So the master is created, applies to one branch. You can scroll down. That is already selected. So branch protection rule we can select in the case of a repository to provide specific access. So these rules, branch protection rules are set in the settings branches tab. Okay. Branches tab. Okay. This is that. Now, commit ID. What is this commit ID? Whenever we create a file, the first commit ID will be generated. Means in the repository, we created a file installation.txt. Let me open. Whenever we create a new file, a new commit ID is generated. That's the first commit ID. Whenever a file is created, a new first commit ID is getting generated, that is this one. Let me click on this. See here, this is the commit ID. That's the first commit ID that is getting generated when you add a file. So this I'll maintain it here. first commit ID. When you try to add a file. Okay, now what we do? Let's go back to the repository. Let's do a small exercise. We will try to open installation.txt. Try to edit the file. Try to add one more step. Say validate the installation is successful. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to add one more step, validate the installation is successful. I will mention the commit message as adding step 4. Click on commit changes. It will commit directly into the master branch. Click on commit changes. So what happened now? Whenever we modify a file, it generates a new commit ID. Click on the history. You can see this is the first commit ID which is getting generated when you create a file. Then after, when you try to modify the file, we got a new commit ID. When you click on this, we know what we have identified. Let's click on split here, not unified split here. We know what is there and what we have modified here. See? So there is a new commit ID getting generated when we try to add a new file. Okay, when you add a new file, it is the first commit ID. When you modify the file or delete the content of the file, or if you do any changes in the file, we get a new commit ID. Second commit ID. So what is the difference between these two commit IDs? We can check the history to see the differences in the commit ID. Okay, so it is easy for us to understand when you add a text file, when you modify the text file, it is generating the commit ID. We can compare the differences between two commit IDs in the GitHub to see the information here. Okay, now next point, pull request. What is this pull request? Why do we need this pull request? The main important reason in the enterprise is it is important that developers always create a new branch to modify the file. Then the files which are modified has to be sent for review. While sending the code for review, we have to generate a pull request. So why do we need a pull request? For the developers to modify the code which has to be done in a new branch, not in the master branch. They have to do it in a new branch. So now what we do, we will try to do this exercise for generating or for creating the pull request. Go to GitHub repository. I am going to create a new branch. The branch I'm just trying to put here as branch for review. I'll just put branch for review. Any name I can give. I'm just selecting branch for review. So I'm just creating a branch underscore review from master. What happens when you create a branch? When we create a branch, what happens is it will copy the content of the files from the master branch to the branch underscore review branch. Again, what happens when you create a branch? The content of the master branch will be copied into the new branch which will be created. So I think let's try to put here, let me put some different name, code changes branch. Okay, we are creating a code changes branch from master branch. Let's understand once we create what is the content of the code changes branch. So in the code changes branch, if you observe, right now we are in the code changes branch. If you observe, right now, if you look at, if you open installation.txt, if you find out how many commits are there, click on history. It shows there are 2 commit IDs in the GitHub repository installation.txt in the branch. Which branch it is? In the code changes branch. So what happens when you create a branch? It copies the file, and in addition to that, the file commit IDs also will be part of the new branch which is getting created. So first thing, the branch, when you create a new branch, let me try to reduce the font. Okay, for the developers to modify the code which has to be done in a new branch. In the new branch, the code and the commit IDs also getting cloned from the master branch. Cloned is nothing but copy. Okay, now in the new branch, the branch name is coding repository, right? That is what we have created, coding repository. Now in the coding repository branch, let's try to modify a file. Let me try to modify a file. So in the code changes repository branch, I will try to modify this installation.txt again. Try to put here the 5th line of statement is file validation is successful, validate the installation is successful, and check the contents of the directory in the program files. Okay, so we added the 5th line of statement, check the contents of the directory in the program files. Then we can mention here adding step 5, and we are committing directly into code changes branch. Commit the changes. And see the history now. In the history, if you see in the code changes branch, there is one more commit ID which is this one. So code changes branch has 3 commit IDs. 2 commit IDs already coming from the master branch. This is the 3rd commit ID. Okay, these commit IDs in the master branch, right? We created a master branch. They are available in the master branch. Now, let's understand the pull request concept. If you look at the master branch, suppose the master branch and the coding changes branch. So in the master branch, if you look at, the master branch is having these 2 commit IDs. Similarly, in the coding changes branch, we are having these 3 commit IDs. So what is the difference between master branch and the coding changes branch? The difference here, if you look at, the difference is only this commit ID. So what is the comparison between the branches? It is not the code, it is comparison between the commit IDs that is done by the GitHub. How many commit IDs in the master branch? How many commit IDs in the code changes branch? This commit ID will be considered for the review by the reviewer by creating a pull request. Then finally the code changes will be accepted and merged. This commit ID will be merged into the master branch once it is reviewed successfully. Okay, so let's go back now, create a pull request for this. Again, here how many commit IDs are there? There are totally 3 commit IDs. Check. in the master branch, if you look at installation.txt, you have history. If you see, there are 2 commit IDs, right? And you can go back now, change the branch to code changes branch, click on installation.txt, click on the history, you can see 3 commit IDs. Now, this commit ID which newly added in the code changes branch, we have to send it for review. How are you going to send it for you? The differences between the master branch and the coding changes branch. If you want to compare 2 different branches, we have to create a pull request. So once we create a pull request here, see, click on create or click on new pull request now. We select code changes with the master branch. So what is the difference here? One file is changed, one commit ID is the difference. What is the commit ID? You can see 38D2E98 and the step, adding step 5 is the commit message, and if you scroll down, this is the change we have done. So this is how we create a pull request, and assign to a reviewer. Suppose if you know any reviewer, we can assign to a reviewer and we can say, mention the comment, please review the pull request and approve. You can mention this information, click on create pull request. So in the repository, you have one pull request. If you open it, you will know this is the pull request. Open this pull request, add step 5. Right? So once this is approved by the reviewer, then finally we can merge this pull request. When we merge this pull request, what will happen? When we merge this pull request, what will happen? Confirm merge. What are we trying to merge? We are merging this into master branch, confirm merge. Okay, now go back to the Excel again. So once we merge, what will happen? This should be part of the master branch, right? Because once we successfully completed this code, compared with the master branch, we merged the code. Now what will happen? Finally, the master branch is having 3 commit IDs. Why? Because this commit ID has been directly gone to the master branch after the pull request and merging the changes into the master branch. Now go back to GitHub. Click on GitHub repository. Okay, now check how many commit IDs are available in this repository, right? How many commit IDs are in this repository? We have to see. Let's find out the commit IDs. Let's try to see the history. See here, let me click on this file. So what is happening? If you look at totally, the commit IDs, this commit ID is coming from code changes, and also there is one more commit ID for the merge pull request, right? So whenever we do a pull request, it is not only the commit ID which is part of the branch will be added to the master branch, a new commit ID will be generated in the master branch for the pull request. See here, for this pull request, we got a new commit ID. So it is important. Not only this, we get, I'll clearly mention here, a new commit ID for pull request 1. This is very important. This also will be part of. This is the part of master branch. So whenever not only this one will be there here, and also there is a new commit ID which is getting generated, that is, I'll mention here. This is coming via pull request, Okay, so the difference between the two branches is compared via pull request. The difference is mainly the commit IDs, and also not only that, when you merge it, we get a new commit ID because of the pull request. This is a very important point to note. Okay. Now contributors are the one who are trying to add or do some changes. We can add contributors to the repository so that we can allow them to do the changes. Now issues. If you look at here, there are different issues we can create as part of the repository, like how we create defects. In Jira, we can create a defect like this, create a new issue saying that there is an issue in the code and that has to be fixed. We can mention and attach the screenshots and try to submit a new issue. So in the repository, we have an option where we can submit the issues. Okay, and also you can even maintain the wiki. So this supports HTML tag names. See here. So I can say welcome to the GitHub repository, and I can mention H2. So it supports frameworks. So you can write all these things and save page. Finally, you can even have a wiki as well in the GitHub repository. So we have code, we have issues, we have pull request, we have wiki also mentioned clearly. Okay, now next point. Download the repository. So how can we download the code that is available in GitHub? It's very simple. Try to click here this action and just try to click an option or select the option download zip, which will help you to download the repository. Right? It downloads a zip. Suppose for example you wanted to download a specific branch related code. Just change it here to code changes. Then you download the code. You will download a specific branch code only. That's also possible. Okay, so you can download the code directly from the GitHub repository. Now, go to file. It's very important. Suppose we wanted to search for a specific file. We can say go to file. We can even type installation. Or suppose for example, I wanted to identify all the Java files. You can give Java here. So go to is very important option. In the case of GitHub, you can search for a particular file format. It's like a file finder, you see here, right? Yes. Now, so this is the introduction part I have added. So very important point, if you remember, if you see all the steps, whatever I have discussed by creating a one text file to understand this concept. We are not taking any Java code. We are not taking any Java language code or the Maven project code to understand GitHub now. For understanding basics of GitHub, you can even start creating a one text file, start creating branches, do the changes, create a pull request, then try to merge the pull request into the master branch to understand the GitHub thoroughly. Then we can focus on how are we going to create a project in Eclipse, push the code from Eclipse to GitHub, download the code from GitHub to the Windows laptop, then how do we import that project into Eclipse back. So we can try to do all these things in the part 2 of GitHub, but for understanding GitHub thoroughly, it is a good practice to do it with a single text file with all the changes. I hope this video is very helpful for you to understand GitHub from scratch. If you like my video, please subscribe and share with your friends. Thank you.